Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today is July 9th, 2020, at 6. Damn, we're already in flipping July. We are 5 months away from the brand new year. We are 3 more months from my daughter's birthday, quinceañera, big decisions, a lot of surprises coming around the corner. A lot of changes, a lot of positive stuff, positive vibes, upcoming vacation trips, upcoming tournaments and shenanigans and everything else in between. But anyway, today's episode, I did want to make a point and to touch on 3 particular things in today's episode. In today's episode, the theme is going to be 1, healthy and unhealthy styles of competition. Number 2, the current state of U.S. soccer. Obviously, in correlation with the World Cup and everything that has transpired in this beautiful 4 to 6 weeks have been absolutely exciting to see. And number 3, toxic parents in comp sports. That's a big one because I think a lot of us parents who are currently with our kids or grandkids in competitive sports, I think maybe some of us are guilty of the same exact thing. So if this resonates with you, maybe look in the mirror and kind of self-analyze and self-reflect if this is you. But anyway, let's dive into the first part. The healthy and unhealthy competition. So before I dive into that piece, I did want to give kudos to a lot of the sports and FIFA in general. I know right now that FIFA is currently getting bashed because of the whole Argentina versus Egypt game. And if you didn't follow soccer, if you don't follow soccer at all, basically, I'm going to go ahead and try to describe the play that sparked the major issues, apart from all the other stuff that happened during the game. So, for example, the defender wins back the ball from Argentina. There is a questionable call, whether it's incidental or accidental foul. In men's soccer, unfortunately, it gets a bad rap, and when you see the video, it doesn't necessarily give it a lot of credence, which is basically them flopping, throwing themselves on the ground like you could have sworn their freaking foot was completely obliterated. But in this case, the defender was going for the ball, accidentally cleated the gentleman on his toes. The gentleman threw himself on the ground. The defender won the ball back. As he dribbled the ball back, he made a couple passes, some beautiful moves. He shook 2 or 3 defenders from Argentina. Now, again, he got it. He won the ball back almost damn near by the box of his own goal, on his own side of the field. And he dribbled it about maybe halfway, and then went even farther than that, and you're thinking like, damn, this dude is going to take it all the way. Nah, he decides to pass it to the midfield, to Mo Salah, and Mo Salah throws it to the winger that was approaching on the left-hand side. Beautiful playthrough. The gentleman caught it, 1 touch, strike, corner post, goal. Egypt goes absolutely bonkers because at this point, I believe the score would have been either 2-1 or 3-1 or 3-0. I forget. I have to play back the game. But the point is that they were winning. Unfortunately, even after the whole play has transpired, the referees and the people up top decide that, no, we're going to replay the foul that occurred at the opposite side of the field way after 5 or 6 passes just occurred, where the gentleman that won the ball back and where you're going to call the foul on, he's not even the one who scored or even made the assist. He passed it over to Mo Salah. Mo Salah passed it on. So he was already off the play. And after review, they called back the goal and giving additional life to Argentina, who proceeded to score the goal right after, like a few minutes after that. And then it immediately sparked this like surge of energy or second wind from the Argentinian players. They pressed and pressed and pressed and pressed, and they scored and they tied. Then they went up 1 more goal, and they ended up winning the entire game. Now, where this matters is because there's a lot of people that I have reviewed. A lot of us basically couch, I want to say the couch managers the couch analysts, the internet trolls, etc., or even podcasters like myself, we look at these videos and we're like WTF moments. Again, in the heat of the moment, you really don't know what people are going through or the pressures they might be going through. Moral of the story is they basically, you could see that there was a lot of plays that happened and transpired during the game that I think should have been called the right way. And unfortunately, there were opportunities that were missed. And so now there's a big, huge argument that now that FIFA is basically trying to get to the finals and face France, who just beat Morocco today 2-0. Dominant game by France, so I can't even speak on that. The game was just the way it was. Kylian Mbappe is doing his thing, and I think now I'm going to be rooting for the Norwegian Holland and see how that transpires. But I digress. With that being said, let's dive into U.S. soccer. So the current state of U.S. soccer, I guess you can say, is still currently behind. I don't see it really competing with the European teams. I think there's a lot of growth to be had. I think the athleticism is there. I think we definitely have the programs that are there to develop our kids. I think we have the athleticism, we have the sports science, we have the talent, we have the money. But why U.S. soccer fails to compete against the world? And this is where I want to correct and bring some people down. It's not that the U.S. is not improving. It's just that European teams and countries like the Netherlands, like the African teams, we saw it with Cabo Verde, we saw it with Senegal, we saw it with Ghana, we saw it with Morocco, we saw it with Egypt. These teams are moving and progressing and developing as well. They're not staying behind, sitting on the couch eating chips, waiting for the U.S. to catch up to the rest of the world. They are moving too. If the U.S. is getting better, so is France. So is England. So is all these other teams in the world, including Asia, including Japan. These are teams that are developing and investing in their players insanely in an incredible amount. But where I think it differs and it makes a significant impact, in my opinion, is that I think a lot of the fault in this has to do with comp sports. And let me explain a little bit. I think that comp sports, at the base of it, at the root of it, has great intentions. And it was originally developed, in my opinion, for players that are a little bit more seasoned and have a much higher talent ability to compete with other kids comparable level as them and get better and develop. But I think some clubs in particular have lost sight of that the second that it became a business. When you turn a sport that is supposed to be for fun, that is supposed to be developmental, and you turn it into a business where it's about bottom lines and profits, you care more about the profit margins than you care about the product and the quality of product that you're putting out on the field. You'll care and develop more and focus more on the players and the comp fees and the tournament fees, the burrito fees, the snack fees, the coach fees. You're more focused on that than actually developing the players that you have in your club. And it becomes like a money grab, right? So that kind of creates this whole culture and this whole bad reputation of that's what comp sports is, even though it's not. But depending on the club that you go to, that might be the message and it might be the wrong signal. I mean, I'm not going to lie. If I own a soccer club, I am not going to be shying away from you paying $5,000 a year in comp fees. And that's just base. That's not including the uniforms. That's not including the additional practices, the play dates, the additional tournaments that are mandatory by each club to be a part of. And mind you, there's a stipend for these coaches. In some cases, you're paying for the quality of coach that you are getting. Now, whether he or she might be a great coach, that is subject to interpretation depending on who you are as the player and as a parent, depending on the style of coaching that you accept, that you tolerate, that you welcome, that your child resonates with. That all depends on that. That's all contingent on that. But I think that's where we lost it. I think it became that. And from what I see from other countries, when I hear comments from European players like Thierry Henry, like Zlatan Ibrahimovic, like the Cafus, who is the director for La Liga, which is the Brazilian league, He basically states that the difference between European sports, European clubs, and the U.S. clubs, they're really focused on development and growth. But at the same time, they don't give participation trophies. They don't give awards. Either you win or you don't. When you are trying to try out for a team, depending on the level that you want to be a part of, it's a legit ass tryout. And it doesn't change. Like the fall at the end of the season, at the end of the year, that for you to be an outside player and try and be a part of the comp team, you have to try out, but you don't try out with the comp team. The comp team is a comp team, period. You have to literally get kicked out or somebody has to outplay you, or you literally just, your play style, your performance level has gone down so bad that now another player is looking to take your spot. But those are really rare circumstances because the players in comp sports in Europe take that shit to heart. There is very little support and effort on trying to develop in baseball. There's very little effort in trying to support in football, NFL. It's either rugby, cricket, or soccer. Rugby is really physical, and with CTE and everything that's happening, there's not a lot of favoritism or people wanting to go that route. So they end up going to soccer, which is more about skill and development and acumen rather than how big you are or how strong you are. Soccer is one of those sports that's really strange. You can be really short and still be phenomenal. You can be really big and be really bad. It doesn't matter. Size does not matter in soccer. What matters is strength and speed and agility and your ability to be coachable rather than just being a good player. Talent can only take you so far. How coachable you are, how able and receptive you are to development after that is entirely up to you, and that's what your entire thing is based on. Here in the United States, it's turned more into a money grab rather than development. It's turning into more of a business than bottom lines, and rather than actually developing a good comp program. So be mindful, be careful. U.S. soccer is here to stay. I think maybe in the next 4 years, I have a strong feeling that there's going to be a lot of players from Europe that are going to come down, and you're going to be like, hold up, that guy was not born here. I think at this point, the countries, to be quite honest, are looking the other fucking way, and they're trying to nationalize you, and you're representing their team. Doesn't matter where the hell your mama was born. If you're good, put a stamp of the U.S. on you, put a stamp of whatever country you're representing, because that's basically where we're trending. You have a lot of these African players that are now representing all these other teams that they're getting nationalized either in France, Netherlands, Europe, Mexico. Doesn't matter. Wherever the opportunity is, that's where they're trending. But now let me dive into the other part of this. Toxic parenting. The other side and the other coin of comp sports in general, whether you do baseball, basketball, soccer, it does not matter. If you are the type of parent that are screaming from the sideline instructions and barking orders on what your kid and child should do, shut the F up. Nobody wants to hear you. There is a coach already on the field that you are paying because you are doing comp sports to develop and grow these kids. If you have a disagreement with the play style or plays that are being called out on the field, you take it up with the coach. But do not instruct your child mid-game, because honestly, it doesn't help anybody. Now, I can see where maybe you might be focused on your child if you see that they are playing slow, or you notice that they either are obviously injured. You might check in on them. You might, before the halves even start, you might want to say something inspirational or motivational to your kid, like, you got this, lock in, 2 more. Or maybe even during games, you might be inclined to correct your child and say, hey, by the way, somebody's creeping up on your backside, be careful. Because maybe they're not seeing it and the coach is not seeing it because they're focused on something else. So just that little subtle little nudge will help. But don't make it the entire thing. Don't lose your shit when your child is tackled hard and the ref doesn't call it. Trust the process. Sports are finicky that way. And the kids on the field, they have their own weights and measures. And trust me, even as a former athlete or someone who did sports before, if you give it to me and no foul was called on you, trust me, I will come back to you and give it to you right back. And it's going to be a 1-for-1. I'm not saying that I condone it, but it happens in sports. Like you see it in baseball all the time. If a pitcher accidentally strikes a player and it's deliberate and the other players see that and they notice that, that same player that threw that pitch will more than likely go to the mound in baseball in particular and get strucken by a baseball as well. And then it starts boiling and then people start losing their temper and shit gets crazy. But the other thing in comp sports, you are considered a toxic trait if you are making it about you. In comp sports, your child will develop at their own rate, at their own speed. They will practice and they will grow at their rate. If you are pushing and pressing too much on your child to be successful for whatever reason, you are hurting that child. That is not development. You are hindering their normal development because at some point you're going to be removing yourself from the equation altogether and that child will think that that is normal. You are creating a culture of what's allowed and what's tolerable for that child. And when you are removed, they're going to be completely lost. And I'll give you guys an example. So let's say your child doesn't make a team in particular, and you are upset about the results. So what do? You ask your child if they want to practice, if they want to do more because you see them that they're down and out. So the kid is grinding and putting in their work. Some kids have no off switch and they will continually say yes to all these development, training sessions, everything else in between. But you have to be mindful of their growth as well. Kids need the ability to be kids. If you deprive them of that opportunity of self-growth and slow it down, they are just going to be hurting themselves. If you push too much, your child eventually, once they start getting old, they're going to want to push back. And that's not good either. And imposing your will of your child making the team of this particular level, is it because you want that acknowledgement? Is it because you as a parent want that on your resume that your child is doing this, blah, 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 blah? Or do you want your child to properly develop and grow at their rate and grow at their speed? If you are the type of parent that your kids make a mistake, you immediately put your head down and you don't even want to be talked to or discussed with about the game, then you're a problem. You need to be there for these kids every single time they make a mistake, regardless of the level of play that they do. I understand that kids make mistakes. They might not be focused or locked in, but I just said it in that sentence. They are kids. Allow them to be kids. Give them the opportunity. They're only going to be 9, 10, 11, 12 years old once. We all were at one point. I'm never going to be this age I am now that I am tomorrow. I'm not going to go back in time because that has not been invented yet. So treat it as such. You get one shot, one opportunity, but at the same time, allow these kids to have that proper development and growth, because when they get old, you could have some serious effects on that child based on the pressure that you give them, to the point that they're going to want not to even be a part of the sport at all, and at some point have resentment towards it because they're going to link every single negative thing that they had to do with you about the sport. And when they have their own kids, they're not going to want to do the same thing. That's toxicity. Also, if your kid really genuinely does not have the talent, acknowledge it, accept it, and find something else that they're focused on and love. They might not be good at that one thing, but they might be great at something else. It's just finding that great thing. But do not feel down in the dumps like, oh shit, they're not going to make it to professional. A lot of kids don't make it to professional sports. You know what's worse? Trying out for sports, given your entire life, 20, 30, like 20, 15, 10 years old, up until the age of 21, 25, 15 years that you've been given commitment to this sport, just to not make it. Think about every player that plays semi-pro sports right now. Think about every player that is playing single A, double A, triple A baseball that doesn't get called up to the show. Imagine how they feel. You're getting mad, you're getting upset because you're getting the realization that your child might not get there, and they're barely 12, 13, maybe even 14 years old. Imagine the ones that are 20 plus years old that this is all they've known. Imagine how crushed those people are. So be mindful of that, and also just manage your expectations within your means of what they are. Now, within your means, here's a big one. Who are we competing with? Who do you compete with every day? That's a great question. I'm asking you, who do you compete with? Do you compete with your spouse? Do you compete with your child? Do you compete with your neighbor? Do you compete with your sibling? Do you compete with someone else? Who do you compete with? I'll tell you this right now. You shouldn't be competing with anybody. You should be focused on yourself. There might be possible measuring sticks and levels of success you want to replicate and you want to emulate, but instead of asking the right questions and analyzing how that person might have gotten there and the steps that it took them to get there, don't just immediately hit the cheat button and try to live above your means and above your means, stretching your dollars way more than they need to be. There is the way you are valued, and there is a way that you are viewed. If you are valued, if you want to be valued, people value your personality, respect, they value the way you make people feel when you are there, your presence. You're bringing value. Value is also the way that people value your opinion. They value your feedback on certain things. They value your representation of certain things. They value your morals. They value your decisions. That's value, because you're bringing something other than just monetary. How you are viewed. Do you want to be viewed or valued? Or do you want to be viewed as a person that has all these crazy ass trips all the time? I don't know. Do you want to be viewed as a person who has all these nice things, all these monetary things, vehicles, houses, jet skis, boats? Do you want to be viewed that way? Because if that's the case, what are you trying to accomplish? What's the end game? Are you more focused on how people perceive you, or are you more focused on what you can bring to help other people improve? What are you going to bring to the table? If all you're bringing is just monetary things, and that makes you pretty shallow and pretty one-sided. And it takes away from all the effort and struggles and pain that you went through to make that success. But when you're boasting that way and you are making it about the monetary gains and what you've done, or check this house, I bought this house, check this one out, I bought this other one. Hey, I bought this car, I bought a newer one. If you have the means and it's within your budget, that's okay. It's okay to celebrate your victories. It's okay to celebrate your wins. If you bought the brand new car because it fits within your budget, if you bought that house because it's within your budget and you needed an upgrade and you can afford it, if you're going on that trip because you saved a bunch of money or you invested in stocks that gave you fruitful results and you're finally cashing out, celebrate your victories and win. If you want that freaking gold chain because you've always wanted a gold chain, buy it, spend it. But that's it, because if you want to reward yourself for your struggles and your successes, that's fine. But if you are doing all these things, plain and simply because you want to be viewed a certain way, then that makes you very insecure. Do these things because you genuinely want to, not because you want the attention or you want to be valued. When in reality, the value you already had within you. You don't need to be a billionaire or a millionaire to bring something to the table. You have nobody to prove anything to, because the other side of that coin is you see somebody's brand new house. You see somebody's brand new car. You see all these things, but they never show you and never will show you the car payment, the car note. Having an expensive car comes with a big ass fucking insurance rate. You guys know that? You think you pay $100 a month for full coverage on a car that's worth over $100,000? You're fucking tripping. You're not. Even if you bought the car outright, even if you bought it outright in cash, you still have to pay for insurance. You still got to pay for gas. You still got to pay for maintenance. If you bought a home that is super massive. You still have to pay property taxes. You still have to pay a mortgage payment. And on top of that, whenever the house needs upkeep, you still need to fork out the money to make the necessary repairs on it. And if you are maxing out your credit cards to live a particular lifestyle, then maybe you need to self-reflect and stop and pause. Because sometimes people oftentimes go on these splurges of spending because they have anxiety, because they have depression, because they have a hole to fill. And they are competing with who the fuck knows, because they're not competing with you. They're competing with themselves, but that hole will never properly be filled. It will always be empty. And they're going to buy and buy, and it's going to be a pit. Next thing you know, they have a bunch of all these things, open expenses, open credit card balances, that now it's affecting them at some point or another. Now, if they have the means and the budget to afford all these things, that's good for them, but that is very far few in between. There's the opposite of that. So sometimes when I see a lot of people and a lot of friends on Instagram, they're making all these trips and splurges. While a lot of people don't celebrate your victories, because that's the one thing I say that a lot. People will not celebrate your victories. People more often than not are waiting and looking out for your failure and you crashing and burning. People celebrate that. There is more people love you when you are failing than when you are winning. Okay? Put it that way. And at some point, you got to focus on that. Focus on what you want and how you want to be perceived as. For example, me, I want to bring value to our friendship. I want to bring value to our partnership. I want to bring value to our family bonds, because monetary comes and goes in waves. There's going to be moments and periods of my life where I will have a lot of money. There's going to be other moments where I'm going to be broke. And what is you doing? What's the one constant in between? Is you. It's not your bank account. If you feel you have nothing to bring to the table and that you need to compete with another family member because they bought so-and-so, and you feel the inclined or the urge to do the same thing, pause. You don't got to prove shit. Use that money for something else. Save it. Life is a fucking marathon. Life is not a sprint. You're not there tomorrow. Life is a marathon. You got years. And mind you, the people who do it right, how are they able to do this? The amount of time that they put in work to get where they are, it's a whole different story. And I'll tell you, I'll give you guys a crazy story, right? So this is somebody that I know very well. And this gentleman about 10, maybe I want to say 20 years ago, from Mexico, and he started a small business, and he was working in upholstery, where basically he was making car seats for vehicles at a dealership. And then he saw the opportunity, along with his siblings, to start on this food truck business. And they went into the food truck business not knowing what it would become. And slowly and gradually, he started doing these food markets, and it became hugely successful. And it became so much successful that then he finally had the means and the ability to basically stop working full time and dedicate his entire time to do this. That was 10 plus years ago. This gentleman already paid off his house. This gentleman paid off all his bills. This gentleman, the only expenses that he has are the ones that he brings in for his business. Everything is fully paid for. So he has these crazy parties that I love attending, or when I used to, but he would have banda all the time, his siblings as well, because they've all been in the same business. But they've grown their brand so much that it's been hugely successful that he boasts now, not because he's still very humble, but you know that he's been very successful. But he doesn't post it on social media. He posts everything that he's done. His success is in silence. He doesn't come out with a sign and say, hey, I paid off my house. You just know, because when you talk to him, he'll tell you. You see little subtle things when he buys certain vehicles outright in cash. He doesn't put it anywhere. Nobody knows about it until you go to his house. You know that it's there. There is no videos. There is no content. There is no viral social media page. They are silent on social media, but yet they exist. And their kids are following the same MO. They don't post nothing on social media. They keep all their shit to themselves. They put it on Snap, stupid shit that they do like they're being kids, going out drinking or when they're partying. But they don't do any of that because they don't have to compete with anybody. They've already done it. They've made it. But that is the difference. So self-reflect, self-evaluate. Who are you competing for? Who are you competing against? And I circle back with this. You're not competing with anybody. You are perfect just the way that you are. Say it. I am perfect just the way that I am. I have my flaws. Say it. I have my flaws. But I am me and I love myself. I am me and I love myself. I believe in you if you're listening. This message is for you in particular. I believe in you and what you do. Believe in me. Believe in something. Believe in someone, not something monetary. Not everything's about money. Money comes and goes. The things that last when you're old and decrepit are the value that you brought. The things that matter is how your kids are going to remember you by. Not your neighbor knowing that you had a world-class car. Fuck the car. It's how they value you. Were you a good person? Were you a good human being? Were you a good example? Did you set good morals? Did you take care of your parents when they were elderly? Were you a good husband? Did you bullshit your way through your marriage? What type of value do you have and what can you bring to the table? It's not about the bank account. The bank account is a plus. It's how you are and how you are treated and how you treat people. Remember that. With that being said, thank you for listening. It's 31 minutes in. Thank you. God bless. Press like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Good night. Oh, last and final thing. I forgot. I am taking next week off because I will be going out of town. I think I'm going to do one last episode, maybe. But then the week after that, which is the week of the 19th, we're going to be taking a break from the podcast for about a week and then coming back on the 27th. So with that being said, thank you. Good night. God bless again, and good night.